left you too soon. So young at heart, yet you feel so much older under your favorite full moon. So trust a little time, so to be afraid. Just a little time, gonna make it fade. Your heart is gonna shine and you're gonna make us proud. Send a little light, gonna shine for you. Things will be alright, gonna get you through. Searching for a silver lining on this cloud. Amnesia, you forgot your name. Don't let your spirit fade away. Amnesia, you've been through such pain, but your little heart is growing stronger every day. Hey, don't fade away, don't fade away. Amnesia, you've got this burden to bear now, hiding away from the world. But deep down behind that disguise that you wear now, I see a lost little girl. So trust a little sign, so to be afraid. Just a little time, gonna make it fade. Your heart is gonna shine and you're gonna make us proud. Send a little light, gonna shine for you. Things will be alright, gonna get you through. Searching for a silver lining on this cloud. Amnesia, you forgot your name. Don't let your spirit fade away. Amnesia, you've been through such pain, but your little heart is growing stronger every day. Hey, don't fade away, don't fade away.
Hello, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, or Taku, as you might know me on Twitter, the executive producer here, and I just want to thank you for watching. It really means a lot to us that people watch, listen to, and enjoy our shows. If you want to help us keep making these shows as fun and lively as they can be, please join your fellow fans in supporting us at our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms, or by subscribing to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/finalshowfilms. It really means a lot to us that the amount of you who do support us continue to do so, especially our $25 plus tier supporters on Patreon. Antitonic, Cat Waterflame, Samantha Bates, Maureen Monty, and Gravity Alexander. Every little bit helps, so thank you to all of our patrons. On Twitter at Final Show Films, and on our website at www.finalshowfilms.com for updates, go live notifications, and more. We love interacting with you, so feel free to tweet at us or email us at finalshowfilms@gmail.com. That being said, please relax and enjoy. And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Esoteric Literature Club of Whitechapel. I am John, the keeper of stories for this evening, and with me today is Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy, and I'm playing Jahan Ramzi, psychologist. I don't remember what we say for our opening stuff, so...
Whatever works.
He's a shrink!
Aaron.
Hi, I'm Erin. I was distracted because I was listening to the other audio to make sure everyone was audible on it. Hi, I'm Erin. I am playing America, Kansas Freedom. They're a cowboy.
And Jack.
Hey everybody, I'm Jack. I'm playing Jared O'Connell, incompetent action hero.
We are short this week. Craig, who threw out his back like the old man that he is, and Mara, who is in Scotland. I was just using his words.
Isn't he younger than I am?
I have no idea what the age relation between you and Craig is. I'm just simply using Craig's words. Anyways.
Yes.
Mara, who is abroad. Anyways. Abroad, single word, not...
I was like, wow, we're leaning into that 1920s slang, aren't we?
Single word, as in away.
We are a professional organization who have our introductions down to a T. And
We are legitimately usually better than this. Not something I can usually say when this messes up.
And by T, I mean it looks like an X because we accidentally kicked it over on its side.
Sony would have you know that that's a cross, Jeremy. Anyways,
Sony can kiss my skinny white ass.
before we delve into the world of Call of Cthulhu, for those watching and listening at home, understand that this is a world that thrives on horror, on the unsettling, on making you uncomfortable, so there may be themes and aspects of this story that are particularly unpleasant for some viewers. In those cases, it is a perfectly valid response to stop watching or listening if you feel you cannot continue. For those who remain, welcome to Call of Cthulhu. When last we left off, our resident explorers were exploring a residence, particularly the residence of one Sir Thomas Blyton, an old. I like how I just dropped Jeremy right at the beginning. The manner of
something Sir Thomas Blyton.
The manner of Sir Thomas Blyton, an aged animator who passed away and whose things were being put up for sale in an estate sale. While investigating the library, Jared O'Connell had a bit of a mishap wherein he went to open a door that was closed, but didn't realize that the grandfather clock opens outwards rather than inwards and put his hand through the glass. Resulting in the attentions of the butler of the house. The butler,
this is just blood all the way down.
The butler escorted Jared and Harold to the medical wing. And a part of the manor that was established as having been off limits prior, but in cases of medical emergencies, its supplies were available. While they were away, Jahan, America, and Doris continued to search through the library. Having previously found a hidden viewport through which they could see a large chest covered in chains, they began setting about to explore various ways one might ascertain the location of that room. We left off, in particular, with Doris finding that if you pull the grandfather clock's pendulum, it opens the back of the clock, revealing a hidden passageway. We pick back up in the library, where Jahan and America, who are both at separate places from Doris at the moment, hear a sudden scream. It is not the scream one might associate with terror. It is more the scream one might associate with stepping down a stairwell and forgetting that there is not one more step. Or forgetting that there is one more step. The sudden surprised yelping associated with that echoes from the location near the grandfather clock, a location neither of you had been looking at prior.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at it now.
The hell?
As the two of you look, you see Doris has disappeared. In her place, there is simply a grandfather clock with a smashed glass, a pendulum that has been pulled outward from the grandfather clock itself, and an empty passage beyond.
Doris?
There is no response.
Hello?
In American, and thus much louder. Hey, Doris!
And that's much louder.
Sorry.
No, that's fair.
There continues to be no response.
Well, I'm sauntering over there to look at what happened.
Walking over to investigate.
The two of you approach the grandfather clock, which again remains broken as the glass was punched through. Bits of blood that you assume are still from Jared remain around the exterior of the grandfather clock, and there is no visible sign of Doris. Simply a very tight passage that, Jahan, you could potentially squeeze through. America, you might find it a bit tight.
Cool.
I mean...
So that would be a passage Doris could have gone through.
Potentially.
Oh, very well. Yeah, I'm gonna go in my death trap.
Jahan, you lean in and push past the grandfather clock, squeezing into the fairly tight space behind it. It seems that this secret passage was meant to be less of a passage and more of an access. You find your back pressed against hard wood as your front is also pressed against hard wood as you squeeze between two walls, pulling yourself along. Pulling yourself along. You notice that you are not alone in this passageway, as a cobweb strikes you in the face full force.
Ah, bloody.
Do I hear that?
Absolutely.
Y'all right in there?
Just fine. I'm just fine.
At that instance, you notice there's a remarkably long millipede crawling along the wall near your hand.
Bit less fine. Look, I don't think she's in here.
Give me a second. I
Do
think I bought a flashlight torch.
Do you press on, or do you stay
No,
where you're
because
at?
I am backing my ass out because logically, and of course this has nothing to do with oh sick, oh gross, this is terrifying. Logically, if she had come through, she would have hit the cobweb.
As you step backwards, you hear the crunch beneath your shoe as a cockroach or something of a similar structure is crushed beneath your foot.
That's not fair.
I'm gonna try and throw my camera's or my phone's light in there.
As you begin crawling back out the passageway, Jahan, a brilliant light blinds you from the grandfather clock well. America, you see Jahan covered with probably more bugs than he noticed.
Well, you had an adventure in there. No Doris?
You noticed? No.
I will point to one of the bugs that's like crawling up an arm or something.
Am I actually out at this point?
You're in the grandfather clock at this point.
Get out. Shake off.
There's a surprising number of various insects, some of which are identifiable, some of which are absolutely not.
Lovely. Well, no, there's most definitely no way she was in that.
Meanwhile,
I would imagine that she went off to try and, well, let's be frank, do what she's been trying to do this whole night.
Ain't he with the patient right now?
Meanwhile,
Do you really think that would stop her?
in the medical wing,
I'd hope it'd stop him.
Jared, Dr. Costley has managed to swiftly and routinely bandage your arm. You now are less bleeding, less and more just covered in gauze. As the blood has stopped, the glass has all been removed, and the doctor finalizes cinching your bandages.
Thanks, Doc.
In whatever voice Harold normally has, you hear him say, "You're welcome." As it is finished, the butler, looking at the group of you, "If you're quite done, then perhaps we should rejoin your compatriots in the library."
Jared will stand up, and then he'll take a scan of the medical wing and just see if anything jumps out at him.
Give me a spot hidden roll.
Oh, I'm great at those.
Come on. Snowball? Yes, okay.
Yeah, we can
purple
hear
or the
you. We
green?
just can't. The one on the right is the single roll.
Yeah, I think everything came undone. Give me a second.
Yeah, we can hear you, just can't see you.
That's a fail.
It's a fail, but it's not a.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not a dramatic failure.
No.
Looking around, it strikes you as a fairly well stocked but fairly standard. Nothing particularly unusual or expensive or rare medical wing.
Okay. Following the man who buttles.
The butler buttles you out of the medical wing, and returns you back to the stairs in the primary lobby. If you would be so kind as to find your way back to the library, I must now fetch a dustpan to clean up the glass. Do be careful from here on out.
Do my best.
And he turns
And off to the library.
As you are on your way to the library, you too hear a sudden yelp. The yelp that is the sound of someone suddenly mistaking the fact that a 13 stairs long staircase was either 12 or 14 stairs long. This time coming from behind you.
Turn to see who's behind me.
No one is behind you.
Turn back to see who's in front of me.
No one is in front of you.
Doc?
Dr. Costley appears to have vanished.
Library's this way, Doc.
There is no response.
Are there any corners nearby of passages that he might have gone down?
No, in fact, it is curious. You are in a long stretch of hallway between any of the various rooms. There is the game room off to your left, but the door to that is further back. You imagine the wall is particularly long here to accommodate all the hanging skulls.
Library it is, then.
As you return to the library, you find within a befuddled and bemused Jahan and America. Jahan, in particular, shaking off a variety of insects, some of which are identifiable, some of which are distinctly not.
I would like to try and identify the unidentifiable ones.
Certainly. Let me figure out what roll that'll be. Nature.
Would that be a natural world roll?
Yes, a natural world roll would suffice.
Nope, failed that one too.
These unidentifiable insects continue to be unidentifiable.
Do you guys go bug hunting?
Well, Doris vanished and thought maybe she'd gone into, there. And she didn't. But there were many bugs in there.
Looking, you see a small, tight passageway beyond the grandfather clock.
Given that I have a size of 75, is there any chance I could get in there?
It would be a tight squeeze, but yes, you could get.
Where's it go?
Wait, my size is smaller than yours. Sorry. It doesn't matter.
I didn't go
Yes,
too
but
far.
your size is larger than Jahan's.
Ah.
Sorry.
It did not go. I did not go very far. It was clearly. There is no way that Doris could have gone in there without hitting some of the things that I hit, cobwebs and the like.
I lost track of Doc on the way back too.
Well, at least he waited.
Right.
I mean,
we're pretty sure they're trying to do exactly what Doris has been. My God. Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
They want to do a private mosey, that's on them.
That might be the most regional thing I've ever heard you say.
Oh, shucks.
Well done.
All three of you can give me an idea roll if you'd like.
That's just intelligence, right?
Yes.
Well, we better mosey out here before.
Nope.
I literally am the dice curse in this game. Holy balls.
No.
None of you see anything wrong with that conclusion.
Well, we better mosey on out.
In other words, John secretly entered in the code for bump up their rolls by 50.
Well, we better move on. There's other places to look here.
Wait, looking for what? Or are we going after the...
Ain't we still looking for books for the literature club?
Well, yeah, but there's that locked box that I found.
Which ain't for sale?
Okay.
I mean, that is.
I'm not denying it's appealing, but
But it is very specifically not for sale.
Looking at your collective watches, you realize you have an hour left in your time limit before the auction.
I'm gonna look at the map of places. Oh. Anywhere else that seems particularly stand out, interesting, or like it might have been passed over by other people?
There is the game room, which is labeled as a fairly large room on the same floor you're on, the second floor, further down the hallway from the library. There is the bedroom, which probably has definitely had people in it, but might have things that may be of interest that others might have not seen. On the third floor, there is the wine cellar, which is in the basement, which you can access from the kitchens on the first floor. There sometimes might be things of interest down there. And finally, there is the sitting room on the first floor, just off the main entryway. If it has been picked over, anything left would certainly be something that people had missed.
How do y'all feel about the creepy basement wine cellar?
Oh, are we looking for a cask of Amontillado? Let's do it.
Yeah, I do appreciate the reference.
My aunt was from Baltimore.
Heading to the wine cellar.
Wine cellar!
What the hell? Why not?
All right.
I'm going into battle and I need your strongest wines.
You can't handle my strongest adventurer. Anyways.
Odd. William isn't here.
The group of you journey down. You take the stairs down back to the first floor, passing by groups of huddled masses, all still dressed in their dark mourner's garb, with hats and umbrellas inside the house. As you continue on, you find yourselves in the kitchen, where there are a few other people, looking over various objects that they have found, sitting down. The kitchen is well appointed, almost as if somebody had taken their favorite diner and rebuilt it inside the house. There is a counter where people can sit and eat, and where you can see through into another kitchen proper aspect of the room. It feels very much 1920s Americana in here. Off to one side, where one might expect a jukebox, there is instead a door, marked cellar, that leads down into the dusty and less well-kept cellars.
All right. So if we're going for the 1920s Americana aesthetic, I assume there's a cup of cold coffee sitting out with a cigarette butt in it for absolutely no reason.
There is a cup of cold coffee sitting out with a cigarette butt in it for the reason of the person reading a book next to it put it out in it. Seems odd.
Is there also a gun?
No.
Okay, so not quite 1920s, but very close. All right.
Yes, America has a gun. Actually, no, it's not on them right now. I just have a lasso.
What is the person? What book is the person reading?
They are reading an unmarked book.
Well, I'm not going to interrupt, and we've got a wine cellar to visit. So.
Yep.
So, the
Heading
three
down
of you,
the stairs.
The three of you open the door to the cellars, heading down. You find yourselves in what can only be described as a Elizabethan era cellar. Stone brickwork fills the walls and pillars that support the ceiling above. There are many wooden casks anchored into the walls, each marked with a date and name, some of which are very obviously going to be the brewers that they were brought from. The youngest cask in the cellar, the youngest cask in the cellar is at least 100 years old. As you continue through, you find eventually a more chilled area of the cellar. It just naturally seems to get colder. You don't notice any specific devices that are making it colder, where there are racks upon racks of dusty bottles.
I'm going to look around and see if there's anything notable or weird.
Give me a spot hidden
Yeah, I'm
roll.
looking around for esoteric stuff.
Give me a spot hidden
Nope,
roll.
I failed by a lot less than normal.
I will also
Mm.
investigate.
Hey,
0 is a success. All right. America and Jared looking around. It's a lot of dusty bottles and a lot of dusty casks. There's nothing particularly odd about any of them. Jahan, out of curiosity, you pull one bottle off and take a look at it. You can actually see into it what appears to be some aspect of a tentacle inside the bottle. You can only see part of it. Whatever it is attached to is obscured. The part that you can only see because it is pressed up against the glass, and you can very clearly see the sucker of this tentacle flexing against the glass.
Flexing as in active.
Yes.
America,
Yeah,
could I borrow your torch?
I ain't got one, but you can have my phone.
I've got one.
Is it an actual torch?
No, it's a
Okay.
flashlight.
Because with
he's
either of you,
picked up a
it
little
could
bit of the
have-
slang.
With either of you, it could have been an actual torch.
Jared pulls out a blowtorch. What do you need it for?
One's an explorer, the other's a cowboy. I'm just saying.
Hey, actual torches are useful for welding.
Yes,
Not that we're welding anything, but they have
I
a
turn
use.
it on and point it inside.
At first, you simply flash the light on the bottle, which doesn't do much for clearing up the visibility of the liquid inside. As you do, the tentacle certainly flexes, though. After doing that, you struck upon the brilliant idea to put the head of the flashlight against the base of the bottle, so that it lights from below rather than head on. As you do, you can see this reddish liquid on the inside brightens up its visibility, and you can see what appears to be a collection of tentacles. No body certainly attached to them, but instead attached by wires into the middle of the bottle. These wires occasionally wiggle, causing the tentacles themselves to flex and shift.
Well,
Um,
that's quite.
I'm assuming we
interesting.
see this at this point.
Yes, easily seen with Jahan holding it out.
Yeah.
What's
That
the
got
label on that
an
one
option or
say?
fail mark on it.
Sorry, two people said something at the same time, and they both sounded like.
Go ahead,
questions.
Aaron.
Does that have an auction or sale mark on it?
I check the bottom of the jar.
It is part of an auction that is a lot. The lot of wines of this particular section of the cellar is all up for auction.
I'm gonna pull another one off, see if that's the only weird one.
It seems to be
What's
the
the
only weird
label
one.
on that one, John?
As you look at it, you see that it is a Chateau Lafite Rothschild.
Is that
It's a French wine.
yes? But beyond French wine, is there anything significant about that conceivably?
Give me an idea roll.
Oh, I am actually legitimately surprised it was not like a society or something. Could have sworn they used to have something like that. Anyway,
Actually, it might. Hang on, let me look at your options. There might be a better roll you can make.
Idea
actually,
roll.
no. Any roll would be worse. I would rather roll an idea.
Uh,
Unless it's a psychology roll.
If you had an art like art or craft winemaking, that would also apply. But other than that, an idea.
Okay. Nope.
You've
I'll
never
roll idea, why not?
You are distinctly aware of the fact that you've never heard of this vintage before. America, you also have never heard of this vintage before.
I'm gonna Google it.
You Google the vintage.
I might have heard of this vintage before.
Certainly, make an idea. Oh, Jared. You know that this is a vintage in France that has been owned by members of the Rothschild family since the 19th century. In particular, Jared, you are well aware that this is not a particularly old vintage. Yet, it seems to have been placed and is gathering dust with much older vintages of wine.
Jahan, I don't suppose you're like particularly sommelier adjacent, but was there any reason they put a really young wine with all this really old wine?
Hell, fine now.
America, while you're Googling, you come across the information that in early November of 2012, there was 10,000 bottles of counterfeit Chateau Lafite Rothschild apprehended in China. That's one of the most interesting information you can find by Googling it.
Okay. That happened to be a 2012 bottle. Or was that, what would be the year on the counterfeit stuff?
There's no listed year on the report.
Well, there was some counterfeit at one point, but that's all I got. Yeah, I'm gonna look through things that are part of the same lot, see if any of them are weird.
As you look through, you find, as Jared commented, most of the bottles here are marked very, very old. The youngest wine, aside from the one that Jahan is holding, the youngest wine here is 200 years old.
Jared's going to pull out his phone and... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The bottle Jahan is holding is barely 100 years old.
Oh.
Practically still grapes.
Jared's going to pull out his phone and text the doctor. We're in the wine cellar. Just let us know when you two are done.
As you send off the text, you get a notification from your phone saying that the text failed to send.
What's up?
Oh, I just tried to text the old folks but apparently I'm not getting good reception down here.
Well, yeah, I mean, old house.
Old people.
Might as well mark down the number for Reginald. In case it's a thing that interests him. Never seen him stop at something being expensive if he wanted it.
Was there anything else you wanted to note, John?
Me? No.
Just curious.
I'm gonna steal my flashlight back
Yep.
and go look behind the racks, specifically on the floor, see if anything has fallen or been stashed.
Give me a spot hidden roll. That'd be great when you guys end the chapter and are able to start trying to increase your spot hidden roll.
Right?
I'll need to succeed one first. I don't think Jack has yet.
I mean, I feel like this was a tactical decision by all the PCs because
Hey!
when you notice things, you start to lose your mind. So not noticing things makes other people have to notice things for the plot to continue.
I have
I
noticed that
succeeded
I
with
just
several
have one
degrees of success.
Jared, you see another one of those signs. Actually, you've never seen one. You haven't seen one in the first place yet. Looking at one of the stones on the bottom of the rack, next to the bottom of the rack, you spot a small, slightly lopsided star with an eye in the middle of it and a flame motif coming out of it.
Is it like engraved into the rock?
Yes.
He's going to get down on his hands and knees and blow around the edge of the rock and see if it looks like it's loose or able to be lifted at all.
Immediately after blowing, Jared begins to cough viciously as the rest of you watch a cloud of dust billow up from around the area where Jared stuck his face.
You all right back there?
Found a found a weird engraving on one of these rocks back here. And he whips out his survival knife and sees if he can work it into the edge, into the seam between that rock and the next one.
You work your survival knife in, and as it gets about half of the blade gets through the crack, you hear a metallic clink as if you hit something.
Half the blade or just the tip?
Half the blade.
Okay. I'm a horrible person.
Welcome to the club.
I'm incapable of doing anything that is just the tip.
He'll see if he can work that rock out. This
Thank
thing might
you.
lift, guys.
Give me a... As I try to find my character sheet. Give me an archaeology roll.
Oh dear God. There's literally no chance of me succeeding on this. Nope.
You give a sharp tug and pull, trying to wrench this brick free, and as you do, you hear a metallic snapping sound.
Fuck.
Pull your
Did I
pocket.
break my knife?
Yes, you did.
Son of a bitch. He's just going to use his hands then and see if he can get his fingers around the edge and pull this thing out.
As you reach in and try to sort of wrap your fingers around this brick that is tightly packed with the rest, you can't quite find any grasp on it. But you do feel a bit of a wiggle as you touch the brick, and following that you push. And as you push, you hear a clicking sound. Jahan in America, you once again hear the sudden sound of a scream. Again, it is the scream of someone who was expecting a 13th step when there was in fact only 12, as Jared suddenly disappears from where he was laying down. Jared, you find yourself sliding down a hole.
Well, I'm sliding. He's gonna kind of brace his hands out in front of him. He's not gonna lock his elbows, of course, but he's just gonna try and catch himself as far as whatever he comes across. I assume it's pitch black and I can't see shit.
It is absolutely pitch black and you cannot see shit.
Okay, cool.
Though you do smell
Well,
it rapidly approaching, oddly enough.
Is it salt water?
No. Shit.
Is it sewage? Yes, okay.
Oh God.
As you slam hands first into something warm and wet, you collapse into a pile underneath something in a darkened area. It smells horrendous.
Eyes and mouth are very tightly closed.
I'm still not convinced that you haven't found the old couple.
God,
in the middle of
no.
something.
Meanwhile, Jahan in America.
Peek around the back of the bookcase.
Jared is gone.
Just
Is the
kidding.
hole there that I vanished into?
No.
Okay.
Gonna go look for whatever he thought he was looking at.
Yep.
As you crawl down behind the wine shelf, you see once more that mark that you had found on the inside cover of a book and on the back of the pendulum of the grandfather clock, the slightly awkward star with an eye and a flame.
Well, that was on the pendulum that Doris disappeared next to, so we might have to reevaluate the noogie theory.
The Oh! I'm sorry. I got my American slang terms confused
Slightly-
there for a moment.
slightly mixed.
Yes. I'm fairly sure that Jared was not up for a threesome, so it's probably not the case.
Jared, you find yourself with your eyes and mouth firmly shut in a dark room, up to your elbows in something very warm and wet and viscous.
Eyes closed, mouth shut. Try to stand up, and I'm grabbing my flashlight.
As you try to stand up, your back very rapidly hits ceiling. You find that you have roughly the clearance to crawl on your hands and knees.
Click the light on and wipe the eyes. Try to make sure I'm not going to get anything nasty in them, and peek up and see what I can see around here.
To your great relief, you find that you are not, in fact, in piles of sewage. You
Okay.
have instead found yourself in some sort of abattoir, as everything is covered in red and meat. I need you to make a sanity roll.
Oh god, this is not going to go well.
Yeah, never trust the phrase "good news, you're not in a sewer" in a Call of Cthulhu game.
That's another fail.
Something about this meat seems wrong. It doesn't seem like it is the kind of meat one might expect from a traditional abattoir. And it bothers you greatly. Lose 1 sanity point.
Okay. I am almost a gibbering wreck.
What's your sanity at now?
42.
You're fine. You've got plenty to go. Don't worry until you get below 20.
Okay.
Jahan in America, faced with this brick that has a symbol on it, what are you doing?
Clearly, there's some kind of secret latch back here or something because, well, somebody just vanished. So I'm going to start poking around.
Maybe we should.
Make me a spot hidden roll.
I'm gonna try and I don't know if I can ask for a listen roll, but see if there's any aside from fiddling with stuff, maybe I can still hear Jared if he's calling out or something.
Sure, give me a listen check. As Jahan, you sort of look around and you begin just poking around, but you swiftly stop that as you take a look and see the broken blade of a pocket knife next to the stone, sort of sticking out of it as if it had been wedged in between the brick that has the symbol on it and the one next to it.
Okay.
Something.
Sorry, I was trying to figure that out while I pretended, but something caught my attention in the middle of you talking.
No worries.
So if you could repeat that.
You begin poking around. Actually, you
figure it out in my head.
You begin physically poking around, but
Right.
you stop shortly after you notice the forward half of a pocket knife that has been broken off, sticking out from the crack between the brick that has the symbol on it and the one right next to it, as if somebody had shoved it in and was trying to loosen the brick.
Well, clearly it
America, you
didn't
don't hear
loosen.
anything.
So clearly it didn't loosen enough because the knife broke. Thoughts?
Well, we could see if we can open it, but I'm not a huge fan of falling in, and I don't know where this door would be. We could go back, see if we find another one of these on the staircase where Jared said he lost the dock.
I have a thought. Let's go find the butler. The
Right.
people are screaming and vanishing. Somebody must know where they're going.
Works for me.
The two of you leave the cellar. Meanwhile, Jared,
Yep.
you're on your hands and knees in this abattoir. You have your flashlight out. You are up to your elbows and thighs in meat. What are you doing?
I'm looking for a way out.
Give me a...
I have a flashlight.
You have a flashlight. That is good. That is useful. Give me a navigate roll.
Okay.
Oh.
Do I get like advantage on this or anything? Or
No, not in particular.
Okay. Okay.
Succeed. As you begin to move through, you imagine that if this is an abattoir, there must be multiple ways for it to be dumped into, as it were. In addition, there must be some place for the offshoots to go. An abattoir is not simply a bucket in which you throw meat and viscera. It is a storage or transportation venue, similar to a sewage or anything, similar to a sewer, but for meat and offshoots. So you begin to crawl, every movement pushing through this warm and viscous material that you're crawling through. Your hands clutching at the stone ground underneath, your stomach threatening to turn at every motion, especially every time you have to breathe in the new smells of death and decay around you.
Uh-huh.
Eventually, you find that there are indeed multiple chutes that lead to here. Now, you can either try to crawl up the chute that leads down here, or you can continue looking for an exit. Which would you prefer?
I'm pretty much slathered in viscera right now, right?
Mostly, yes. Roughly half of your body.
Yeah. That is not going to be conducive to climbing out. I'm going to keep looking for whatever serves more or less as a drain here.
Give me a spot hidden roll.
Okay. That's a hard success.
At one point, you startle, for it seems like something else is moving amidst the abattoir. Something that isn't you. Something not natural. But as you look, you see that, no, it is in fact simply the shifting of the viscous fluid itself, as something dumps into it and as something else is being pulled out of it. Heading over in the direction of that movement, you find yourself feeling around the floor, feeling desperately for some sort of drainage, and you feel, beneath the abattoir, a metal disc of some kind, perfectly round, embedded in the floor. It seems to be perhaps a cover. You can't see it, obviously, for there is viscera above it.
Feel around for any sort of handle or grip or something.
You can feel that there is a definitive edge down the middle of this disc, as if something causes it to either open up towards you or push down below. Testing it with your fingers, it does not budge, so it's not likely that it's a pressure activated, or at least not on your end pressure activated.
Okay. Mm, roughly where am I in the visible surrounding space that I'm in that this drain is here?
It feels as if you are roughly in the middle of the abattoir from looking
Okay.
around.
Um, I'm going to then start. I'm going to go to the edge and work my way around, see if I can find any handles, switches, mechanisms, anything that might serve as a mechanical trigger to that thing here in
Every
the room.
As you search around, every once in a while you see this bubbling gurgle from the middle, as if the whatever that whatever that sluice that you found is, opens up and bits of viscera come out, drop down out of it, and then it closes again. You're not certain what it's going to, but it does seem to, with fairly regularity, open and close. As you
Okay.
look around trying to find a handle or something else, we return to Jahan and America. You exit the cellar into the kitchen. There is the sound of a bell ringing as somebody off to one side brings out a plate of food to some of the guests. They put down this, what appears to be a particularly appealingly red sausage case, on a series of buns with ketchup, mustard, pickles, relish. For some of the customers, it appears this 20s style diner serves 20s style diner food. As people begin to bite into the viscous meat that they are being offered, I apologize, Aaron. The two of you continue past.
Yep.
Leaving the kitchen, you find yourselves once again in the hallway leading to it, and you are looking for the butler. Where would you like to begin your search?
I mean, kitchen places where house staff tend to be.
Oh, the kitchen you just passed through, and he certainly was
Right.
not in there.
Right.
The next place you would start you would logically begin to make assumptions would be probably the main area to see if anybody has seen him from there. So you head that way, asking about. Nobody in the entryway seems to have seen the butler at any recent point in time. Several of them seem to have not seen the butler at all, ever. Though there are others who have seen him, so that aside. Following the clues that you are given in the main entryway, you deduce that the butler is either on the second floor or the third floor based on eyewitness accounts. Nobody seems to have seen the butler on the first floor at all.
Okay. Up the stairs we go then.
To the second floor.
Yep.
Is there
If
any
we
place?
don't find him, we can just pass until he magically shows up.
I mean,
Try and find him first, yeah.
yeah, that would be that would probably be better.
You move to the second floor and begin your systematic search through the rooms. Meanwhile, Jared. You have circled around the abattoir and have found no meaningful handles or doors or hatches. The only entries seem to be a variety of slides through which the meat comes, and the only exit seems to be that one drain.
When I was touching it, what sort of dimensions? Like, did this feel like something my entire body could fit through? Were it open or not so much?
Were it open, yes, your body could fit through it. It would, however, be tight.
Okay. He's going to go over, and since it seems to be doing it with regularity, he's going to wait and see if he can just catch one of the things as it opens and hold it there.
All right. After a few moments, you hear and feel a shunk sound. You hear a shunk sound and feel the grate sluice open as it does. You reach down to try to grab one half of it. Make me a dodge check.
Okay. Awesome. And from my perspective, is it opening upwards and out or downwards and
It is
in?
irising open and then closing
Oh,
flat.
okay. That's much worse. It doesn't know how to do this. Hang on a second. Oh, I need to type in half of my dex.
Yes, you
apparently.
need to put
Okay.
in half of your dex into the dodge.
Okay. That's a fail.
So as it irises open and you try to grab, you realize all too late that perhaps sticking your hand in the middle of an irising orifice is not the best idea. As it irises closed back and you pull your hand back out, you take one point of damage to your hit points as you pull your hand back out, and now your blood is mixing with the viscera around you.
Okay, that's going to get horribly infected. Okay. And I've been down here long enough that I probably have no idea which sluice I came down.
No, you've circled around so many times you have lost track.
Yeah, we're gonna. If this thing is sharp, we are just gonna try and climb out. Then, fuck it.
All right. You return to one of the downward sliding areas where viscera has been coming into the abattoir and begin trying to climb. You're going to be doing a hard climb this time.
Okay.
So make a climb
So that means I
check.
roll the purple one.
No, it means you roll a regular one, but you have to get at least a hard success.
Oh, okay. Boom!
And you do. It is particularly difficult to make this climb as your body is wet with viscera. But pressing your arms and legs into the sides of the vent, you find one that is slightly smaller than you are, so that even though you might slide, you are simply too large to easily slide down, so long as you press outward with your limbs. And using that tactic, you slowly and painfully squeeze yourself back up this slide, until you find yourself once again at a ceiling.
I'm just gonna start yelling.
As
Help! I'm stuck!
as you begin to yell, the ceiling opens up and a pile of blood and guts falls into your open mouth as it slides past you down the slide.
I am just scrambling through the opening, pushing
You-
up against this as fast as I possibly
You
can.
push up and climb out and manage to get out before it closes itself off again. You can taste the raw meat in your mouth as you spit some out, gag slightly, but emerge, blood-covered but alive, on the floor of a room that you do not recognize. It appears almost like a shack, in fact.
Looking around, seeing if there's any doors or if this is like an outbuilding, whatever.
There is indeed a door, and and along the walls of the shack there are a variety of sharp implementations, buzzsaws, garden shears, saw blades, and regular saw blades in general. It seems you found your way into a gardener's shack, and on the floor next to you there are several buckets of viscera, one of which has tipped over and seems to have been the thing that dumped out on top of you. It looks almost like fish chum.
Ooh, okay. Well, that's slightly better, but okay. I'm going to just open the door.
As you open the door, the salty sea air hits you in the face as you realize you are in a ramshackle wooden cabin at the bottom of the cliff that the Blyton Manor was built on top of.
I think I've solved the mystery of why William, who has previously said he's very susceptible to the description of things and imagine them, doesn't like playing Call of Cthulhu with you. You
Wait,
ruined a role-playing
It's
game.
long to figure out why William does not like playing Call of Cthulhu with John.
I am going to. I assume the storm is still on.
Yes, it is in fact still raining and storming.
I am going to stand there in the rain and let it clean me off as much as possible.
You do that, and as you do, Jahan in America, you continue your search through the second floor looking for the butler.
Yeah.
You return to the library at one point and find that the grandfather clock has been immaculately repaired. The pendulum is back in its normal ticking formation. The glass has been completely replaced, and any sign of blood or shattered glass has been removed from the area. The butler has certainly been through here, but you do not see him at the moment. As you continue your search, you find yourselves in the game room. In the game room, you find, along the walls of each thing, a variety of different animals that have been hunted and mounted for the pleasure of whoever it was that used to live in this house. Sir Thomas Blyton, certainly, but definitely others, because this house is far too large for one person. At the end of the game room, there is a fireplace, crackling loud with a roaring fire, a writing desk bemounted with a stuffed eagle. Along the walls, there are bear, rhino, hippopotamus, and a variety of other exotic animals that have been hunted and mounted, along with several weapons that likely have been used to do so. Everything from an elephant rifle to a harpoon. The harpoon likely for the manatee that is also stuffed on the wall.
No, not that
Can I
it's
tell if any of those? Sorry, go ahead.
okay. Not that it's my first choice or anything, but if we really did want to get the butler here quickly, we could just destroy something because apparently that brings no time flat.
I'm glad you guys hit on that.
For as much as I'd love to embrace a penchant for rampant destruction, before we do that, I'm gonna flick out my phone and just call. I'll start with Doris. Why not?
You get the unmistakable tone of a line that's been disconnected.
All right, flip open my phone. Whatever Craig's character was named.
You get the
To be clear-
unmistakable tone of a line that's been disconnected.
A line that's been disconnected or a phone that's off, because those are two very different sounds, and one requires action by the phone company.
A line that's been disconnected. Not a phone that's off.
We're processing that after calling all of the numbers, okay?
You can call the number first. I'm processing the fact that apparently in the last 15 minutes, the phone company has decided to disconnect everyone's numbers.
And then Jared.
I will point you back to the thing that I said at the top of the Call of Cthulhu game. Anyways, Jared, your phone begins to ring in your pocket as you are standing in the rain.
Shake off my hand, dry it off a little bit, scoop out the phone, try and shield it in my jacket. Yo,
Hello. Well, your number's not disconnected. Hey, where the fuck are you?
outside, bottom of the cliff.
I'm gonna put you on speakerphone real quick.
I'm going to see if I can find at some level of sheltered niche in the rock face to where I can possibly have a phone conversation without being directly rained heavily on.
The easiest place to find shelter would be back in the shack that you escaped from.
Okay, fine. I'll go back in the fucking shack. I didn't want to.
You don't have to if you don't want to, but...
No, he'll go back in there.
Care to repeat where you are for John's benefit? We still haven't found Doris or.
Well, they're not in the abattoir, so that at least is good. Or at least, if they were in the abattoir, they're already dead, so there's no point. That rock I found behind the wine shack shelf thing, I pushed on it. Something happened, and I slid down a chute into an entire fucking room full of rotten, putrid viscera and entrails and crap, which apparently had several other chutes going into it and a drain. I tried to let gravity do the work, and I got my hand cut as a result, so that's going to definitely need some heavy medical attention from infection. Managed to climb up one of the chutes, came out in a gardener's shack that's apparently at the foot of the cliff that this house is built on, and got a mouthful of fish chum for my trouble.
Right.
I've had a day.
Sounds like.
So now I'm in a gardener's shack, and there's a lot of bladed implements on the walls, which does not at all induce a horror movie vibe.
You find yourself staring at a harpoon for some reason.
I'm not even going to say anything about what I'm looking at right now. And yeah.
To be clear, do you actively say, I'm not going to say anything?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I was sure that was for us or for John.
That was for everyone.
So you don't know a way back then is what.
I mean, I'm sure if I walked down the beach a little bit, I'd find a slightly less cliff face type of geology that I'd be able to haul my ass back to the manor at eventually. But until something horrific happens, I might see if I can wait the storm out a little bit.
I know that Jack is the one eating, not Jared, but it sounds like you just picked up one of those buckets and just started going to town.
I mean, I am now picturing Jared as played by Brad Pitt. Just eating in every scene, whether there's food, whether there should be food available or not.
I'm Cole Sprouse in this Call of Cthulhu game.
Yes, yes.
You do still have some food on your person if you want to check and see its viability after having gone for a swim in the abattoir.
Nope, I know better than that.
Good man.
Okay.
I mean, I stood out in the rain for 10 minutes straight, and I only look marginally less like a horror movie victim right now.
I suppose we could probably drive along the cliff or walk, see if we can find where, if anywhere, it tapers off or there's a staircase.
That. Fine, let's do that.
So we're just gonna ignore the fact that instead of like model trains or old back issues of National Geographic, they apparently keep dead bodies in the basement.
I mean, do you want to listen?
I want to find that fucking butler and throw him down there and say, "Now, how do you like it?"
Okay, we'll find the butler and come to you with the butler.
Listen, mate, do you want us to sit here talking about it on the phone, or do you want us to get to you so then we can talk about it later?
Are you guys headed east or west?
East.
Okay. I'll start walking.
Yeah.
Ring me if you find anything.
John, I don't quite remember how you described the drive here. Is it possible to like drive along a road that's on the side of the...
The winding road that leads to the manor eventually does go back to the cliff face, yes. So it is possible to, after a certain amount of time.
That makes sense. Great. Well, I needed someone to help me dig my car out anyway. Come on.
I hang up the phone. I reach out. I grab the harpoon. You are my new best friend. And I start walking.
As you open the door, a strike of lightning cracks in the distance, and you see the silhouette of a figure watching you from some nearby rocks.
On my level or like up on top of the cliff?
It's not up on top of the cliff, but not quite on your level either. At a distance, elevated from you.
I flip them off, and I start walking.
to begin walking.
Yep.
America and Jahan, as you end the call, you both suddenly jump as you hear the door open behind you. Turning, you see Reginald, who has come into the room. Ah, there you two are. I've been looking for the rest of the group. The auction's set to begin in about 20 minutes. I was coming to see if you have found any interesting artifacts or things for me to bid on.
I'll hand over my book because I was pretty careful to write down everything I knew about.
Makes it look
quickly. These are some animation tools that were apparently used in the creation of that yellow whatever's. Seemed interesting, old, archaic. This is a set of old wines. One of them was a lot newer than the rest and had tentacles in it.
Ooh, fascinating.
Seemed like your style. I know there were a few other things because they're in my notes.
Yeah, you list off the various things you found.
So yeah, everything that was an auction item, I'll list off. Jahan hasn't been secretive that he has a book, right? Just like
No, he's not secretive that he has the book. He is sitting there waiting impatient as the detail of all the things that are being that are being
sort of waves at Jahan. That book something you wanted or something in that we
yes,
should
but before we get too much further, we should also mention the fact that everybody is missing. Jared fell down a passage into a bloody avatar. No pun intended.
I'm just assuming anytime I go with a mention to Jared, this is gonna happen. It's fine.
Oh, well, that is concerning. Do you know where Jared is?
Yeah, he's down below. The cliff face.
We're supposed to be
currently at a fishing shack at the base of it. You happen to know where the nearest cliff stairs are?
There is a old fishing dock, not too far down the cliff, right where the cliff begins to even out with the bay, with the coast. If you head east about 10 miles.
All right. East was the direction Jared was headed anyway, right?
Yes.
Cool.
As for Harold and Doris, well, I saw them leave earlier. I don't know if they've also gone missing or...
Really?
Their lines are disconnected, so...
That's odd. They did seem particularly preoccupied when they left the manor, but I assumed that they simply were tired and were going home.
You know, it's Doris. I wouldn't put it past her to, if she could get together with someone, disconnect them entirely from everything around them so that she can keep them as well as possible.
That's an absolutely terrifying assessment.
Are you saying I'm wrong?
Did you hear me say that? Because I definitely don't think I said it. So if the words came out of my mouth, then somehow it would still not be the strangest thing that happened tonight so far.
I'm gonna flip through my phone, see if I ever put Doris's post address in there or something.
Yes, you easily have the address for her house, which is actually you've never been there, but it actually is out in Sussex, which is the area you're in.
Well, we can send her a letter, and she lives in Sussex anyway, so.
Very well. Well, let's go get your countrymen.
Well, while you go get Jared, I'm going to go attend the auction. This has been quite frightfully exciting. There are so many interesting things that I've found personally. I will see you all back in Whitechapel. Shall we?
Right. Thanks. As we're heading out, you gonna do something about that book? Purchase it at the front, or?
You know what? At this point, if somebody comes across me that I can provide money to Very well. Otherwise, if nobody stops me, I consider it an
just-
experience tax.
You can there's like a little checkout stand at the door when you're heading out that you can very
Okay.
easily just
Yep.
bing, 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 receipt given.
Yeah.
The two of you exit the Blyton Manor. The thunderstorm continues on outside as the rain hits you. You had almost forgotten that it was raining outside until you step out into it. The cold, wet, reigniting the experience of getting your car stuck in the mud again. As you step out,
That's what he's for.
as you step out and
Me?
see,
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I need someone to hold. You know how you push a car out? You have someone in the driver's seat, right?
Right.
That's gonna be Jahan.
I
Do you not know how to drive? Because you
I
can
can
push.
drive. I will happily drive. Yes. You will notice my car that's right over there.
Yeah, but my car has guns and crossbows and other stuff we might need given there's a murder locker.
I'm going to pretend I did not hear that you have a very American car, and let's just get this thing unstuck.
I have my license.
Your license here.
Yes, my license here. Would you like to see it? Because it's in
No.
the car.
No, that's quite all right. Let's just get this thing out of being trapped.
so you have two options. One of you can either make a drive auto or a mech repair with a bonus die. Mech repair being mechanical repair, just to be clear.
Did you
Yeah,
put
I'm
any points
looking
into
for them.
drive auto beyond the norm?
I do not have any points in either of those beyond the norm.
Me either.
I have a
So-
95 in ride, though.
So
Unfortunately, you
Since
cannot
I'm
ride the
behind-
car out of the mud.
So since I'm behind the wheel and we both have the exact same number of dice and we have a greater exact same scores and we have a greater instance of succeeding on a drive roll,
Yeah,
I will go ahead and roll.
go.
So this one will be with a bonus die, so it will be the purple one, yeah. Just a fail.
I mean,
Could have gone worse.
it could have been worse. It could have been the third die.
Just a fail, not a fumble, yes. You begin to pull out. With America pushing, it's fairly easy to simply get the wheel unstuck. As you do, though, the wheel spins rapidly, and America, you are slathered with mud as your car rolls free.
Yeah.
From top to bottom, just all over.
It really doesn't seem to phase them that much.
I was gonna say, you're a stunt person.
No, not actually, but I am a ranch hand to some extent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Being covered in mud happens.
So, but you managed to get the car free.
All right. Well, for now, let's just take one instead of taking both cars, and then something terrible happens because you know that's going.
All right. Which one do you want to take?
Let's take your murder machine.
It's also presumably a better off-roading car from what I understand of car brands. Yeah, so I'll turn around and
You begin to drive.
yep.
Jared, the cold, stormy weather continues to pelt you as you clamber your way across the beach, heading east, trying to find a spot on the cliff where you can begin to climb up or where it begins to level out. There are several spots where you could climb straight up the sheer cliff, should you so choose, but there does not seem to be any indication of it leveling out anywhere nearby.
At some point oh god.
I was just coughing, what was it?
At some point I was gonna call Jared again once we're in the car because we know where the rendezvous is likely to be.
Right. There will be a phone call at some point.
Yeah.
Jared, as you continue on, you cannot shake the feeling that you're being watched. And every time there's a lightning strike and the area clears up, you swear you see the silhouette of a person in the distance watching you. Of course, when the light fades from the lightning strike, they seem to disappear, as if they're only there in that brief moment of awareness during the storm.
Beware the weeping angels. Okay, keep walking.
The saltwater air continues to batter you as you move. I need you to make me a that would be correct. So, a climb check.
Okay. Success.
You firmly navigate over the rocky outcroppings of this particularly rocky beach. As you continue on, you can't help but imagine that shack you came from had to have been some sort of fisherman's shack or something, though what all the gardening implements were for, you're not sure. Nor how it associated with the manor. Perhaps simply in the storm you were unable to see whatever method of conveyance it had back up the cliff. But as you continue on, you slip only once and almost tumble into the water, but catch yourself, keeping yourself from falling.
Got that harpoon. Use it like a walking stick.
Absolutely. And give me a spot hidden check.
Okay. Nope.
Every once in a while, you swear you see something moving in the water just off the coast, but you're not in the water, so it doesn't concern you all. You continue moving, the storm seeming to get worse the farther you walk. At one point, shortly after you slip, but as you continue to get drenched, you hear your phone ringing inside your coat.
Kind of find a place to stabilize, shield. Yeah, it's me, still walking.
Yeah. According to Reginald, next when the cliff starts to level out, which is in roughly 10 miles, that's the nearest place that we can rendezvous. So plan for now is we're taking the car to there and trying to meet you.
Bitch. Okay. I glance at my phone to see what time it is.
You guys got there at... Where did I put my notes? There it is. You got there around 7. 3 hours. Yeah, 7 p.m. It's about 10 now.
Yeah. Okay. Things might not be how they are it's England at 10 p.m. It's dark.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
I know it's not ideal. I was wondering, do you have you have a walkie-talkie on you?
I've got a phone, because we're in civilized country, where there's phone service.
Oh, yeah, but 2 people already got disconnected completely, so I figured, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah, no, I think I have them, but they're in my car currently.
Fair.
So.
Well, best I can do is, we might be able to throw some stuff to you over the cliff.
If you've got any rope on you, can I make a guesstimate at how tall this cliff is?
It's looking at it and figuring it's roughly a 50-foot drop.
Yeah, you're looking at about a 50-foot elevation differential there. So if you've got any rope on you, maybe.
Oh. Is that something I might have just in my general stuff? Because I don't have that as a statted out item, but it also isn't a statted out item.
No. You might have an amount of rope, but generally 50 feet of rope is something you conserve for something that needs 50 feet of rope, and
Okay.
cattle
In
wrestling.
fact,
isn't
I
really-
have like tons of
Yeah, you might.
accessories for cowboying. Doesn't
Yeah,
mean I
well,
have
no.
enough rope for that.
Yeah, you have lassos and stuff, and you probably have a good 15, 20 feet of rope, but not
Yeah.
50 feet.
Oh, I got like 20 feet. I mean, we could still essentially drop something if it's not something super fragile.
I mean, the main thing I'm looking at is an 8-mile hike on rugged terrain in the dark on the coast. I feel like I'm asking for a broken leg or at least a sprained ankle at that point.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. You might want to stick where you are. I've got equipment that's probably helpful. Probably should have. You didn't even bring your car.
Nope.
Well, I don't think that the doc's got anything particularly. You got rescue gear?
Oh, yes, in my back pocket. No.
Yeah, he's unprepared.
Yeah, this might be one of those times that you call emergency services.
Unfucking prepared.
Hey, I am too. I don't have 50 feet of rope. Well,
Excuse me, I'm not a D&D character. No, I don't carry 50 feet of rope on me at every opportunity.
you were going to literature club. What did you not bring?
50 feet of rope.
Sorry. Yeah, we probably should. I'll see what I can do about that. Jeez. You got any landmarks?
Looks out at the ocean.
I mean, is there anything funky about the cliff face, genius?
He'll fling his flashlight beam up that direction and see if he can pull out anything. Cluster of trees.
It's dark.
Any-
It's particularly dark, but you do see that there is one particularly strong and virile tree growing straight out from the side of the cliff face.
Like at the top or halfway down?
Roughly about
or-
30 feet up from you.
Okay. Can I tell if it's deciduous or coniferous?
If I could tell the difference, you would too.
Okay. There's a real big ass tree about 30 feet up from the bottom of the cliff, just kind of jutting straight out
It's
of
sort
the
of
rocks.
out. It's like sort of curving out and up.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. See what I can do.
Cool. And he's going to find a rock to sit on and set that harpoon across his knees and wait to see if the watcher on the walls comes up to have a chat.
You want to make emergency services call? I got a sneaking suspicion they're not going to take me terribly seriously.
I will go ahead. I will ring up.
Whatever the British version of the Coast
Yeah,
Guard
you,
is.
you called the emergency services and report
Yep.
that there is somebody.
Reporting things.
You report that there is
I'm stranded on the
somebody
coast.
stranded
That's what the
Yeah.
Coast Guard does.
You report that there's somebody stranded on the coast in the middle of a storm, roughly this area.
Right.
Okay. The report is in, and they say that they will be dispatching a boat out in that direction.
Could you define soon?
Do you get sort of an indication that the storm is causing some delays in their response time? They're going to be getting somebody out as soon as possible, but they cannot give you an exact estimate as to how fast that's going to be.
I
Lovely.
assume
Thank
we
you.
give them Jahan's phone number just in case.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It seems that you do get the information from the person you're talking to that the storm is unnaturally strong for this time of year. Like this is not a late summer, early winter storm.
Right.
This is like not quite a tropical storm, but close, and in the British Isles.
Right.
So their boats in for the channel are not used to that kind of weather at the moment. So they're working on it. But you do get the call out and the emergency services are notified.
Cool.
And you continue on towards the docks, I'm assuming?
Yep.
As you arrive at what is very clearly an old fisherman's dock. It is entirely made of wood. It is very old looking, and sort of strapped in on the dock there is an old fishing boat. It's fairly small. Looks like it typically would have a crew of about 5 people. And standing sort of on the pier next to it, smoking a pipe and out in the weather, is the very definition of a Newfoundland fisherman. You know, with the yellow coat and hat and wellies and everything. Big long, big bushy gray beard with a pipe affixed somewhere in the middle of the hairy mass, just sort of staring out into the water and watching the storm.
Does he know what we did last summer?
You have no idea. You haven't approached him yet.
I dare say this is probably your go.
Can do. I, by the way, have put all of my stuff in my bag.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case, because, murder house.
Sure.
I deal with the authorities because I've got the accent for it when it's over the phone. You deal with the locals because you've got the non-Arabicness about it.
You've got the distinct lack of brown
The
features.
black person.
No, yes, but still better than Saudi.
Yeah, and besides, being an American in Europe.
Yep.
Oh, America. You get out and approach the fisherman.
Yep. Howdy.
Alright, welcome out to the pier. What you out here for some fishing or something?
I look out at the rampant, violent storm and then back at him.
Nah, one of my friends has managed to get himself stranded at the bottom of the cliff near that old manor.
Oh, well, this is definitely bad weather for being stranded on the coast. As he sort of stands out and puffs on his pipe. I ain't seen a storm like this in many a year.
Oh God, he's gonna tell us when he last saw it. Oh God.
He just
God.
continues to puff on the
I
pipe.
mean, it had something like this.
It's gonna be like, great. Could you help us go get our? It was 1965.
Hey, shush! You said I should do this.
I know. We have to let the NPC go through their dialogue tree. It's fine.
Sorry, you started to say something and then I missed it because Jeremy was joking. What was it, Aaron?
Oh, I was joking as well. I asked, yeah, when was the last time?
It would have been in the 1960s. Roughly 1963, as I think of it. Big old tropical storm came up from the coast of Spain. Knocked our boat clear off of our navigation. We ended up stranded out in the ocean for roughly 15 days. Was a hell of a time to be alive, though.
Great, that's lovely. That's the kind of situation that our friend is in. So could we go get him?
Certainly. He indicates up the coast. If you start walking, I'm sure you'll find him.
You got any ideas about where there might be a tree that flicks out parallel about 30 feet up from the ground?
Ah, the cliff dick. Yes. It's roughly about
Are you fucking kidding me?
the people that name shit like that are old salty fishermen.
The cliff dick.
That's roughly about 6 miles up the coast.
Right. I've got hiking equipment. What do I think of my chances of getting there and getting back, since I'll know where I'm going coming from here?
Fairly good. Like mostly your with hiking equipment, your most of your danger is just the storm itself. Like you won't be in too terrible danger of slipping and falling and getting into the ocean.
Well,
Which is
I'm
the real
gonna
danger.
grab anything extra I have, like if I've got a spare pair of, not necessarily hiking boots because I know you have to buy those, but like decent shoes, whatever else I might have that might help Jared make the trip back.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have stuff.
I don't have enough stuff for two, and I'll sort of be pulling on my. I can just go get him. Sounds like I might be faster than the Coast Guard in this case.
Are you still near the fisherman when you're saying that about the Coast Guard?
I went back to the car to get the shoes, so your call.
Yeah, I don't know where if Jahan had come with you or was staying back in
Yeah.
the car.
Oh yeah. No. He's gonna hang out next to the fisher. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I would have.
Going with America for sure.
Okay. So you're back at the car. Got it.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe Jahan suddenly has a taste for salty seamen.
Yeah, whatever.
That might be best.
Right. Well, damn, I don't like leaving Jahan here unarmed.
You leave, the fisherman just goes rabid and attacks him.
No, I'm more worried about the murder basement, but the fisherman
How
could
do
be
you
part
know
of that.
For all we know, the fisherman secretly owns the manor.
Also, in defense of my earlier exposition request, this is a Lovecraft story. Part of the thing is you listen to all of the old people tell you what happened before.
True.
And you stay away from the water always, because the people that you see out of the corner of your eye near the water are not people, they're fishmen.
It's a good thing.
Yeah,
It's a good.
we're aware of Shape of Water now.
It's a good thing you guys aren't, living on an island.
Look, I'm just gonna go.
Yep, you go. I will. Yes.
Also, in proper Lovecraft, the British water is probably fine because it's up for, proper.
Oh no, the British water is where all the worst things are. The more respectable a thing looks, the more twisted it is. In Lovecraftian.
All right. Well, yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna pull on camping equipment and grab a flashlight because I am American out of my car.
Yeah, as you head out, the sailor calls to you over the storm. Be careful! Storm like this, all manner of thing might come crawling out of the water towards you. Stay close to the cliff.
I gotcha. And I do have my crossbow and my carbine and my shotgun.
All right. Loaded for bear. America begins to make their way down the cliff face as the storm
And my
rages
whip.
on.
That's very important.
As the storm rages on, Jared huddling for what cover he can find against the cliff face that is swiftly and violently being battered by the water of the storm. the occasional flash of lightning revealing odd things in the dark. That's where we're going to end for this week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Under your favorite full moon. Under your favorite full moon. Amnesia, you forgot your name. Don't let your spirit fade away. Amnesia, you've been through such pain, but you're growing stronger every day. Amnesia.